everybody, what's going on? Choco here, and welcome to another Choco's World. But we're going to be starting from the main menu today because I'm pretty sure I found some kind of weird bug or something. I'm not really sure what's happening here. And I'm not really sure why it's happening either, to be completely honest with you, but something strange is happening. So for those of you who are not aware, maybe you just hopped into this episode and didn't watch the previous, this will come back onto some things pretty hard about how things happened last time. So if you'd like to catch up on that before catching up on this one, especially if you're watching on YouTube, by all means, please do so. For those of you in Twitch chat, of course, you're kind of just out of luck in terms of right now. You would have to wait until I'm streaming this, but the episode that'll come out tomorrow will have the information that I'm going to be covering or using for today, but then it's ridiculous. For those of you also watching on YouTube that are thinking about catching this on Twitch, just be aware that I will generally be ahead on the stream compared to where I am on the YouTube series. As for Twitch chat, please do be mindful not to give spoilers as we go forward, even though you may know what's going on. Just, just be polite, be good. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you something kind of strange, yeah? So I was not really sure what's going on. I was doing screenshots and stuff, and it seems like every time I sign off, so let's count them real quick. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 iron golems here. I should probably disable recording because it's going to start clogging up everything. And it looks like every time I sign in... Okay, well, it didn't work that time. But it seems like there's like a... No, wait. Is there more? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, it's still 12. So it seems like every now and again we get something goofy that happens where more iron golems spawn, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's like some kind of zombie that's just like within the area, and whenever I'm loading into the game, it's like because it like loads it in procedurally. So I'm not sure if that's interfering with something else. I just don't know. And it is kind of alarming because I have a lot of golems. Like this, I don't think this is something that should be happening, so I'm a little bit concerned. But hey, I mean, you know what? Some free iron for me, so I can't really complain all that much. But it's weird. It's so weird. We've made ourselves inadvertently an iron golem farm, I feel like. I just don't know why or how it's working. Because as far as I'm aware, iron golems only really spawn in response to threats. And yeah, I know I am kind of, in reality, the major threat to these villagers. Although I keep them safe, I would say. But I don't really know why they're spawning in the way that they are. So, something that I don't know if I'm going to necessarily spend a whole lot of time. Because, of course, if you're playing this on a server, I don't imagine that this would work. It may. I don't know. It depends, I guess, if you're like near an area that's going to be loaded or not. And when you load in, if it'll be active or whatever. But... yeah, so one of those things that I'm not too sure about, but seems kind of neat, seems kind of interesting. So, anyways, I'm just trying to corral these iron golems. I want them to fall into the hole because they actually they're beastly, right? Like, I mean, they are iron golems, I suppose. So, I mean, I guess that's not going to really surprise anybody. But like, they are big boys. They take up a lot of space and they get in the way here. So let me go ahead and drop these guys down, and after I corral them, we'll be back and we'll get on with the rest of our episode because we do have I'm going to be making some risky choices today, chat. I'm going to be making some really scary choices in terms of what we're doing today. I might have chosen poorly. Okay, we're ready to strike out and do our thing. So last time we went ahead and got ourselves a lot of our gear situations squared away, which means that a lot of the stuff that I currently have in my inventory is kind of a bust. Like, it's not really like super useful for me. Oh, Arlo with the Ooga Booga. Thank you for the 4-month resub. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves re-kitted for our kind of actual proper gear. And I know it seems kind of like sudden and weird that it's like episode 6 and we're maxed out, but like, yeah, it's us, it's the way that we play Minecraft, so it's a little bit more fast-paced to get ourselves running. And of course, for me personally, I think that I know some people like to kind of drag out the experience. They feel like, oh yeah, what's it like to kind of feel restricted? Honestly speaking, I don't get it. I like going right for like, hey, I'm in endgame, because in the endgame that means I have all my farms, and that means I get more time for me to make my like really shoddy looking buildings. So it's always a good time to have whatever you need. But I'm actually going to leave myself the existing gear that I have just to the side, and I'm not going to really mess with them. The reason for this is that I don't really want to mess with the gear that we... Oh, I shouldn't have done... Well, I guess I'm going to leave an extra sword behind too. But I want to make sure that I always have a spare thing of gear. I know that's kind of like, but Choco, you're in hardcore. Like, if you die, it's not like you can get it back. But I don't know. There's something very comforting about it. It's just a habit we picked up over time, and I like this habit. I think it's a good habit. And even though I'm in hardcore mode, maybe you're not, and maybe this is something that's like it would benefit you to do this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this anyways. One thing that legitimately could come into play, although admittedly this as well is not terribly likely, but it also may very well end up being the case that I just may need more tools or swords or whatever. That's always a possibility, and you can't really ever scoff at that. So I think it's a sensible thing to do. Maybe it's just me trying to justify my really questionable actions, but as far as I'm concerned, it's all worth it, man. All right, so let me go ahead and store away some of these tools here that are not going to be super duper useful to me anymore, / I'm not going to be using a whole heck of a lot of. I will be holding actually onto that diamond axe right there. I did merge a couple of them to get the efficiency up because we did have some kind of hanging out in the wings. I'm going to actually go back all the way to the village breeder, and I'm going to go farm up some more emeralds because I think we're going to be short quite a bit. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back once we've gotten ourselves all the enchantment books and all that stuff squared away. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to go over there. The reason why I'm going back is because I have a whole lot of books over there. Take those books, go trade them for emeralds, and then take those emeralds, trade them back, but for enchanted books. And then we'll have all the enchanted books, and then we can start anviling. I'm pretty sure we're not going to have the experience we need right off the rip. So we'll just kind of go back and forth because of course, and for those of you maybe who are not really thinking about this or not super aware of it, it does, like, because experience, as it goes higher and higher, it takes more and more experience to hit the next level. It's actually better for me to do it this way in terms of just getting everything sorted out, and then kind of as I'm trading, the trading experience is going to be more meaningful as I kind of tech my stuff up. So just kind of like my way of doing it, and I enjoy doing it this way. So who knows, maybe it'll be useful for you. But anyways, we'll be back once we're all prepped and ready to rock and roll. I just came back to my villager area, and everything is gone. Not just my villagers, but all the iron golems. Ah, what? What? Okay. This is single player game. Are you okay? What? Okay, hold on. First off, first and potentially foremost, maybe what I need to do here is I need to stop letting the villagers breed for a little bit. We're gonna need more and more villagers, so it's not necessarily like the greatest thing for me to do this, but let me go ahead and just make sure that this guy is. I want him to be able to collect carrots, but I don't want him to be able to chuck any more carrots to them. So let me go ahead and put that right there, and a little torching on top to try to make sure that there's nothing spooky that'll spawn. But wait, what? What's going on? What's happening? I don't understand. Oh. Man, my heart just dropped. It was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. How am I going to explain it to everyone that all my stuff is gone? Oh, I'm so thankful that they didn't just up and vanish. Oh, I was so scared. I was so scared. I thought everything I had worked. Oh, my word. In some ways, that, oh. Oh. Okay, we managed to not have the end of the world occur. Like, literally just, what in the heck? That would have been a seriously oof kind of moment right there, to be honest with you. Like, pretty painful oof moment as well. But looks like we're all on the right way about things, and I'm pretty pleased. I'm pretty pleased with where we are right now with in terms of emeralds and books. I think we'll be a-okay with them. But I'm gonna actually shove these guys. Man, just cooperate. Walk the other way. Patrol the other direction, my dude. My dude. My dude. Please. There you go. And then get this guy in there. We're gonna actually go ahead and kill these iron golems, and I'm gonna see what level of emerald, or not emeralds, but iron we can see if we can get from these guys, because that'd be pretty dandy, I think. All right, and of course, the way that we're gonna do this to make sure I don't get blamed by the villagers for causing the end of golems specifically, is we're just gonna light them on fire with lava. All that does is it makes sure that I don't get blamed for the death. If I strike a golem, I believe the villagers have a lesser opinion of me, and then they'll spread that along. But if it comes to this, it should be okay. Now, in theory, what I should do is I should put signs underneath there, and then that way I can leave the lava running, so the lava blade would kill them a little bit faster, because you can see the damage is taking a lot slower here. But I'm a peasant, so we're just gonna go do this way. I'm wondering if maybe we just had so many golems around in that little tiny space that the game freaked out and just kind of like LOL XD noped out of it. That's also why I decided to kind of take care of this now. This is actually like an amazing, it looks like a huge bonfire, right? We didn't start the fire. What?
That's awful.
Why? There aren't golems.
Can you give me some chapstick?
Oh, sure. Oh, you're sneaky!
No, just put it on my lips.
Okay, hold on.
No, just take off the cap and put it on my lips.
I'm not good at this, though. I'm sorry that this recording has been interrupted by me putting chapstick on Momo. Did I do it right? Okay. That was not too bad, yeah. Momo's been trying to get me to convert into like a chapstick user. I hate the feeling of chapstick on my lips, but she found out a couple of sneaky ways to kind of help me be convinced to do it, so. And wow! Really? Wow, we made some pretty serious bank off that. Nice. Wow. I made a lot more iron than I thought I was gonna make there. That's pretty wild. Anyways, let's get down to brass tacks here. I do want to get moving here pretty well. So we have some emeralds in our inventory. We have all the armor. You may be wondering what all these books are. This is kind of highlighting what kind of villagers we have, and also be able to use these books. But let's go down the line again for those of you who don't remember. These are all the villagers of every single type of profession that there is. There are a couple that would be critical path villagers, but I'm not worried about them just yet. That's why we might need some more villagers as we go along. But basically, for right now, I'm not going to stress about it because it's not super duper important, with the current exception of this guy. So the cleric is going to, of course, be able to hook us up with a couple of things. Really notably of the things that this guy will be able to offer me is he's going to be able to offer me ender pearls. Now, of the novice level, he has no other option besides offering me these two. So we're just going to go ahead and take him up on that offer. He's going to be like, oh, I'm really excited to have done business with you, blah, blah, blah. And then this is also this is the only trade that's possible. And Health Elf has given Nightbot a tier 1 subscription. Nightbot cannot thank you, but his robot self thanks you from the bottom of his little robot heart. And that statement, for some reason, made me feel really guilty about my poor iron golems. But here, let me go ahead. We're going to trade for some more redstone. I'm going to also trade for some lapis here. And I'm going to go ahead and tuck those away real quick. And so what we're doing here, of course, is having ender pearls in general is just kind of a helpful thing. But perhaps and more importantly, I'm going to be needing these guys later on, specifically for the use of I'm going to be needing these guys for the use of getting Eyes of Ender, and that'll be a pretty big deal. Also, as another aside, you may be thinking to yourself like, okay, what's the point where the cleric has a differing set of trades where they can roll not the optimal items, at least from my point of view? And the answer to that is this one, and I didn't get the ones I wanted. Rip. So this villager to me at this point is dead to me. I have no use for this villager, so sorry, guy. I'm sorry it had to be this way, but you know, sometimes life ain't fair, and this particular time, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. Look away. For those of the faint of heart, look away. So right there, I have a potential thing that I could do with the villager if he needed to roll an ender pearl. At the very, very least, he needed to roll an ender pearl. Of nothing else, that was the only one definite thing that I needed out of him. Since he was not able to run an ender pearl, and I also need to put the bed back down. But since he was not able to roll the ender pearl and he was able to roll the glass balls instead, the glass balls is great for emerald generation or whatever, but really, it's not super duper important, right? So it would have been nice, but not super critical. It is incredibly critical though that they run ender pearls. If I have an ender pearl farm and everything, that's great. But in order to find the stronghold, I need Eyes of Ender, so you can see the problem. But anyways, let's go ahead and wait it out. And if I miss the mark again here, I probably am gonna have to do a little cut until I get it. It's very possible. There's only 3 possibilities in that trade tier, but with my luck, it's always a possibility that this guy just ends up being a rude dude. Oh, I heard the glug glug glug. And we're gonna just trade for a whole lot of stuff. Lapis is not super useful to me, but redstone is certainly something that we end up using a generous amount of. So I'm okay with trading for redstone fairly frequently. There we go. All right, survey says pink squirrelies. Yep, and okay. So again, is it optimal? No, but I did get my ender pearls, so. Nah, maybe I'll try to go for a better one later, but for right now, this will have to do the trick. I will buy a pretty handsome amount of these ender pearls just because of the fact that I will be needing quite a few Eyes of Ender if memory serves, because Eyes of Ender tends to be a huge pain in the butt. But let me go ahead and get all this stuff squared away here. Very cool. All right, so 24 I think would be enough. I would imagine, I would hope. But anyways, okay, so the Ender Pearl side of the equation is done. Now let's start getting into our actual armor needs and stuff along those lines. So I'm going to need to go ahead and keep on getting all that squared away. But yeah, hopefully all's good and all is right with the world. Okay, everybody, I think we're just about there. So with the iron that we received from the iron golems, we should have enough iron to throw together another anvil if this one snaps, which it very well may. But I'm going to go ahead and try to start enchanting things together. We have, I think, all the books that we need in order to get whatever we want. There's a couple. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I need to go quickly run at. But yeah, so we should have all of the different enchantments. I will almost certainly be needing more experience than what I currently have right now. Because we're making our first set of gear, so that means I'm going to be combining enchants onto enchants, that kind of thing. I know there's like a correct way to do this. People have mentioned it to me before in the past where it's like, this is the right way to do it, but off the top of my head, it's hard to remember all those things. I just remember it's like, try to not combine into each other like over, and don't take like Unbreaking 3 Mending, and then on top of that, then combine it with only one other enchant. You're supposed to try to combine light cost with light cost kind of thing. So I will try to do that and keep that in mind, but just don't like freak out where it's like, Choco, you didn't do it. But we'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, guys. It'll be fine. All right, so let's go ahead, take the bow, and I think that's all we really needed. We have our full set of diamond armor. We got a full kit of diamond tools, including a diamond hoe, which, to be honest with you, probably not the most important thing, but hey, might as well have it just because we can. We're currently buck naked right now, but we will eventually get ourselves some awesome diamond armor gear right here. Of course, for those of you who are curious about some things, you're like, okay, well, let's talk about some like more interesting in-depth things. I want to learn a little bit something today. So we've talked about this before across a number of different things, especially when it comes to like how to Minecraft kitting. But as a general reminder, we are of course going to have ourselves a pretty interesting time, because as soon as we get these things of armor on, we get prot 4 across all of our armors. I believe that puts us at a protection value of 20 across the... Oh, wait, no. I think it puts us at like a protection value of like 72 or something like that. I don't remember. But it puts us at some like... No, it's like 16 minus... So 80 minus 16 is what, 64? So maybe it's like 64% damage reduction or something like that. So it's a pretty hefty amount of protection against all kinds of damage, because it does like just take the damage right off the top. So should be pretty good. Of course, outside of that, there's not really a way in vanilla Minecraft, which is what we're doing right now, to go beyond that point. So I'm not going to stress about it. But this should help protect us from a lot of damage. It makes me over doubly resilient compared to what we were before. So this should be actually a pretty swell bit of stuff that we're going on here. So let me go ahead and put flame and mending together, unbreaking and power 5. Ooh, okay, hold on. So if I do that, no, that's also gonna have the same problem. Well, I guess we're just out of luck then, aren't we? I don't really think there's a way around this. Yikes. Okay. So unbreaking 3 and power 5, and then these two together. Okay, cool. So flame, mending, and unbreaking 3 and power 5, and then we're gonna call this the Choco. I guess we'll just like leave them together. Yeah, I'll leave them together for now. All right, cool. So we have that. Now you might be, of course, wondering to yourself, like, well, why not put infinity on there? Infinity conflicts with mending, of course, so that's not really possible. But either way, should be a-okay. Next, we're going to be working actually on our sword. So sword's going to have sharpness, sweeping edge, looting, mending, and unbreaking. Again, we're not running fire aspect on the sword for the explicit reason of I don't want to run unbreaking on... or I don't want to run fire aspect 2 on these swords, because if I run with fire aspect 2 around, it's going to cause some degree of problems, basically. What I mean by that is whenever it comes to adding in these kinds of things, it's going to start getting kind of finicky about like how we're going about doing this. So to that end, I'm not going to really mess with that a whole lot. Okay, there we go. So mending, unbreaking 3, looting, sweeping edge, sharpness 5, because I don't like it whenever like a baby zombie, right? Like I strike it with a sword, and then the baby zombie runs at me, and then the baby zombie catches me on fire, and then I'm just like really sad like person. I'm just like, oh man, why'd you gotta be this way? So we're gonna go ahead and try to keep that off if we can. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take off all these enchantments. Hey, Bacon Hawk, thank you for the 3-month resub. Hi Choco, love you back, fan. You're starting to hatch. He's all growing up now. Well, you're not all grown up just yet, but you're getting there. All right, let me go ahead and take these enchantments all off here. So they are blank pieces of gear. Okay, let me get them all kind of ordered up in a sensible way as well. All right, looks good. And then I'm going to take my sword, and we're going to enchant it with this. Okay, see? And so this is what I was going to say. So I do expect there to be like a number of things of pushback for experience. The way that I'm going to make up for this is I'm actually going to do a couple of trades here and there. For different kinds of things, but I do want to make sure that I'm trading them for emeralds. Or sorry, I'm trading them for emeralds. I want to make sure that I'm trading them in a way that makes sense. So I'm now at this point going to go ahead and run back and get myself some more experience, and then we'll resume the enchanting process and the anviling process, I suppose. Okay, pick it up right where we left off. Let me go ahead and take this swad and then go ahead and throw everything together. The Quay blade. I don't know. We're not going to make like really cool names for these things, I'm going to be honest with you. That's a pretty costly one, but we'll just knock that one right out right now. Cool. So we have ourselves a really awesome swad. I'm actually going to go and do something kind of a little bit goofy. I'm going to go ahead and actually make one of our tools right here. Specifically, I'm going to be working on making... Oh, wait. Actually, I'm kind of all backed up here. Hold on. I'm going to just do this real quick. All right. So I'm going to be making myself... this bad boy right here. So mending, unbreaking first, and then that with efficiency 5. And the reason why we're doing this, I just want to see how much this costs. It costs 13. Okay, let me see if I can throw that together. The axe will let me cut through a little bit quicker through the bookshelves and stuff whenever I'm trying to generate more emeralds. You may be wondering to yourself why I'm generating emeralds at this particular point, because we have Parker, thank you for the 19-month resub. Appreciate that. Pog. Pog indeed. But yeah, we're doing this because number one, it's always good to have extra emeralds on hand. Number two, it's also useful for us to have more emeralds, or it's nice to have emeralds being part of my trading scheme, because if I trade with emeralds, then of course I have a better chance of getting myself more experience runs as we go along. But here, let me actually go ahead and grab some of those emeralds. I'm going to start plopping out some experience potions on myself. I want to get this axe thing done, and then we'll be back. And I think what we'll be doing is, I think I've showcased the general idea of how we're going about it. I don't think anyone's too terribly concerned about the rest of like how I'm doing this. All you really need to be aware of, oh, that's not even enough. Yeah, all you need to be aware of at this point going forward is I'm just going to get the rest of my gear enchanted, and I'll showcase that. But if you would like to look up a guide, then there are, I'm sure, plenty of resources that can point you in the right way for making sure that you're enchanting or anviling your gear in an efficient way. I'm just going to keep on crack-a-lacking because this is a little bit crazy to constantly go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and merge them as I get them, and we'll go from there. So anyways, I'll be back whenever we are all enchanted and ready to go. So we're still grinding for experience. Oh, okay. Hey, and Whiskey just gifted a tier 1 sub to Ivory. Perfect timing. Trying to scare me. Thankfully, my hands were off the keyboard. Yeah, crazy people. Chat's trying to get me killed, and they've been trying their bestest. But I thought I would show you guys just how far up we go now whenever we make one of these little towers. I did go ahead and make the Kweh axe, which has efficiency 5 on breaking 3 and mending. So as we're trading, it'll take some of the experience to fix itself up, but it should be that we'll be a-okay. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and break this down, but I just wanted to share with you guys just how silly it is, how crazy far up we are. So high up. Okay, everyone. Well, it's finally done. It took a while longer than I actually thought it would take, because I forgot how long it takes to get experience without like an experience farm. But yep, we got ourselves our full kit ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase it here. And what I'm going to actually do is we're going to make this a short episode so people can catch up. I know that some people have a hard time catching up with our episodes. So we're going to go ahead and let this be a shorter episode. And it's going to be a precursor to us going for... Well, I'll explain what we're going for at the very end. But first, let's go over the highlight and the showcase of what we got going on. And kind of also for those people who may have like hopped onto this series and been like, Choco, I don't get it. Why are villagers like, why do you even bother? Like, why not just go like digging for diamonds and then just go enchant that way? You can do that, but that means that there's always a certain level of randomness and such and so forth. The thing about villagers is that you can always build upon what you already have. So now that I have all the different villagers I need, if I was not in hardcore number 1, if I die, let's say that you were, I don't know, you fall into the void in the end, or you make an oopsie and you fall into the lava in the nether, or if you died like 800 creeper chain explosions in the overworld, whatever the case may be, the villagers are going to allow you to basically just say, hey, I'm going to go ahead, go to my villagers that I know are always there. I'm assuming that you made them save, but you go there, you do your trades, and you get re-kitted like that. Like, it's super quick. And the best part about it is that it also helps you with a couple of other things in terms of resource gathering, while at the same time giving you experience. So all across the board, it's pretty great. And if you have good ways to maintain a good amount of emerald income, whether it be through the librarian trades, which is what we're doing right now because we're in the early mid game. I'm calling it the early mid game at this point. I guess most people call it towards like end game, but for me, I'm going to call this my early to mid game because we're just kind of running off of this. This is a pretty good way for me to get emeralds and stuff like that. If you were to, let's say, have a good butcher set up, and then you have the butcher be cured, so their trades go down to 1, and then you're trading, chicken, beef, pork, and what was it? Chicken, beef, pork, and something else. I'm blanking on the last one. But if you were able to manage, rabbit, I think. But if you're able to do all those, and you're able to get them into a good automated state, you're going to be swimming in emeralds. And then this whole thing becomes extremely a moot point. And then all you really need to round it out is an experience farm. So pretty darn cool. Now let's go ahead and actually get on with what we're actually holding in our hands. Diamond Hoe, I don't know why. I thought for some reason this would have the ability to go efficiency, but I guess it makes sense that it doesn't. So it has Unbreaking 3, Mending. Oh, and also a thing of import to note. I don't have a fishing rod, and you might be like, "Why don't you have a fishing rod, Choco?" It's because I'm not sure what I want on my fishing rod. Like you can put lure and I think luck of the sea on both, but it like kind of messes with each other. So I need to figure out what I want from fishing. I would imagine I would want lure because I don't think I really care to have luck of the sea, but I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. We also have a shovel. This thing has Unbreaking 3, Mending, and Efficiency 5. This is what I would call the base, like the core of any of the tools, because you're going to want Unbreaking and Mending, so you're going to be able to use it for a longer period of time and then fix it so you don't have to go back and enchant and everything else. Saves yourselves a little bit of a headache. So that's pretty nice there. And then Efficiency 5 to just make it work better. We have the Plan and Execution making a reprisal role from their How to Minecraft Season 6 appearance, but basically I just love the idea because the plan, you take it, you silk touch whatever ore you have, and that's the major difference of the major addition on top of the tool core set. And then the execution, which is going to be adding on fortune instead of silk touch, because this is when you want to actually get all of your diamonds and stuff like that. Now we don't have MCMMO in play here, so we don't have like Super Breaker to worry about and junk like that, but we do still at the end of the day want to make sure that whenever we pick at anything that's going to go from an ore form and then be broken apart into their component little bits or whatever the case may be. So this is going to be like lapis, redstone, diamonds. I want to say that's all of them. Maybe emeralds. I can't remember. But yeah, so if you have those things, you want to make sure that they're Fortune 3. There's no advantage to fortuning them like later in terms of like you get a better yield or whatever, but it saves on your inventory space if you do go on a mining trip. We don't tend to go on those too much, but still either way it's nice to have just in case. So that's going to wrap it up for the tools, right? So the 2 pickaxes, oh, and the KwehAxe, which is just on the tool, the core tool like set. So core tool enchantments on the axe. I could put sharpness on here. I just don't particularly feel like it. I'm looking forward to moving on to my sword. And speaking of that, my sword's going to be running with the Mending Unbreaking. And Mending Unbreaking goes on everything, right? Just to be perfectly clear. It's going to go on absolutely everything, but it's neither here nor there. We also put on Looting 3, so we have a better chance of getting higher amounts of loot, which is always very useful. This means that I can go back into the swamp and go kill some slimes and stuff, and I can have myself a great time and hopefully get a lot of slime balls, which will be very awesome. We also have Sweeping Edge on here, so we can better kill things in AoE, like a little bit better, just managing bigger groups. And then, of course, Sharpness 5 for that max damage. Because we don't have a situation where we're running into like super like beefy mobs, like custom mobs or whatever the case may be from like mythic mobs, we're going to go ahead and run with Sharpness instead of Smite or anything like that. So it's an all-purpose blade, and I don't have to worry about switching like, oh, I want to use this or that or the other. It's just always go back to my sword if I want to do damage. And then at close range, and then for long range, we have the Choco Bow, which we showed before, Power 5, the Mending Unbreaking as per usual, and then also Flame, because I'm expecting to only use this at long range where I'm not at risk of lighting myself on fire. I could now theoretically shoot myself. I could have the Christmas Story equivalent of you're going to poke your eye out, and I'm going to poke my eye out with maybe an arrow that's on fire. But for right now, I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt and say we're going to probably be okay. In addition to this, we also have our armor. So for armor, the core armor set is going to look like Protection 4, Mending, Unbreaking all across the board. There are additional ones on the helmet and feet, as far as I'm aware, that are relevant here, which is Aqua Affinity, Respiration on the helmet. And then for your boots, Feather Falling 4, definitely, and maybe Depth Strider 3. Again, I've heard stuff being said about like, well, it doesn't really make sense for you to put Depth Strider on there if you're going to be using Riptide and stuff like that, so I omitted it originally, but I was like, you know what? I mean, in all likelihood, I'm not riptiding around. I don't think I would, because I don't think I would have too much control over it, but I don't like the idea of riptiding in basically like in the Guardian temple thing. I don't like that idea. That's what it really comes down to. I just like kind of was like, I don't really want to do that. So that's where we're at with those things. But anyways, so full armor, full tool set, right? So let me organize this so it looks a little bit nicer. I'm sorry, my room's a mess. But we have a full tool set here. Yeah, so axe, 2 pickaxes, a hoe, and a shovel. So everything's looking good. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be bringing this hoe everywhere with me. That hoe doesn't really have very much use outside of like a very select couple things. but we just to say that we have it, we're going to kind of tuck it away and leave it there. We also have ourselves both our sword and bow for both close and long range combat, and then we have armor to protect ourselves. And honestly, the protection here should be pretty generous. The biggest fear I would have of death from like normal things would be that I do not, under any circumstance, want to run into a situation where my armor snaps. If I lose a piece of armor, the amount of damage that I'm taking from a mob or from any source of damage skyrockets. The only thing that doesn't really care, as far as I can remember, is the void. If I were to somehow fall off in the end and I just fall through the map, I would die. And the void gives absolutely zero cares about my concerns. If I were to somehow punch a hole through the bedrock at the bottom and fall through the void there, obviously same thing applies. But barring that, this armor should protect me pretty handsomely and pretty well. So should be a fairly good thing. And like even like fire damage, for example, will be reduced, which would be pretty good. So I'm feeling pretty confident about everything. I think we're finally in like a good spot. So let's talk about what's coming up next. Yeah. So the next step, and this is going to be the really cool stuff. Yeah. And the stuff that I think a lot of you are really interested and keen on seeing. If you're like, yeah, farms are great and everything, Choco, but I want to know if you're going to be able to die. It would be most likely here for sure. I think I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to full commit. We have our full gear. I don't really have much left in gear to go. I will forego the golden apples, which basically is me saying I'm not going to make my gold farm first and then take the gold with my apples, make golden apples, so I have like permanent, amounts of health or whatever. So I'm going to go in with what I have. I'm going to obviously need like a couple odds and ends here. Like I want arrows, for example, which this guy needs to actually, I suppose we can roll for it while I'm talking. But yeah, we like outside of like that, ender pearls, maybe like milk buckets or something. But we're talking about like going into the end. So number one, I have to find the end, which is I guess the more important thing of everything. Is I need to actually be able to locate the end. So that means I'm going to have my ender pearls at the ready. I'm going to need to then take the ender pearls, combine them with blaze powder, yeah, and then turn those into eyes of ender, which means I'm going to have to go into the nether first, I suppose, more than anything else. And then once I've gotten that squared away, I'm going to be in a position where I should, in theory, be able to go ahead and say, yeah, let's go ahead and just go ham taro. Let's go in, let's go find the stronghold, do whatever we got to do. And then after we get the stronghold sorted out, I'm just going to go and hopefully kill the ender dragon next episode. So next episode, again, structure will be something along the lines of go to the nether, go get some extra blaze powder, so basically kill some blazes again, and then after I've killed the blazes, we're going to then take it, make eyes of ender, go locate a stronghold hopefully, and then after we find the stronghold, then I'm going to go ahead, kill the ender dragon, and hopefully it's as simple as that. I don't know. And then once all that is squared away, then we can go ahead and just have ourselves a good time with everything else. I will also probably want glass bottles for the dragon's breath. I don't necessarily know if I want to do it on this run though, because dragon's breath is not really useful for me. Like it's nice they can make like the cool arrows and stuff, but really, do I need dragon's breath right now? Probably not. So I might do that on another trip whenever I'm like more casual about it. But I think this trip, the main focus is seriously just going to be take out the ender dragon, and then open up the end, and then after that. I don't think it'll be the next episode. I don't know if I'll go much further than the fight itself. But then we're going to go head off and look for our elytra, because elytras are awesome. Once we have the elytra, and I'm going to quickly slap some enchantments on there or whatever else, and hopefully get some shulker boxes, I should be ready to start the farming age. Farming age, that's whenever endgame starts for me, in my opinion. So that means, first and foremost, I need a creeper farm. Because I'm going to need so many rockets. But after I get the rockets and stuff squared away, then realistically what that means is that I'm mainly going to focus on, okay, let's go ahead, get myself a creeper farm going, get my gunpowder going. Then we're going to go into our classic and standard kind of progression of, let's go try to make a gold farm. Let's go make an iron farm again. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make Nembon's farm again for the iron. And I think that will be the two big ones. And then we'll see how we're doing. We'll see how things are going and stuff like that. Once those are done, we're done with like a lot of like the really heavy hitters, and we can start doing things kind of more willy-nilly and explore like fun farms like guardian farms, and I guess we could mess with enderman farms. duplicators and junk like that. So look forward to it. I hope you all are enjoying the series, and I hope this all sounds like a good plan to you. I know I just kind of like laid a whole bunch of stuff down at you. You're just like, today we did this, and tomorrow we're doing what now? But hopefully it all makes sense, and hopefully you're all stoked for it, because I'm super excited to give this a go. I'm also kind of nervous, to be honest with you, but I'm actually quite keen on trying another attempt at the Nether, because while the Nether didn't give us the most trouble last time, I want to see how it feels to be in vanilla and just go back and just smack down on some of these mobs, because I feel like I'm going to feel much more resilient, which is exciting. Oh, and actually, one more thing we're going to do before we end the episode today. So as part of everything, I can't remember which one of these nerds has it, because I am forgetful like that. Maybe it is the farmer. I don't think it's the farmer, though. Is it you? Yeah, no, this is Rabbit Stew. It's not you. I forget which one of you does it. So... Oh, you know, I know who it is. This is the farmer upstairs. So we get suspicious stews, right? And I think I talked with this with chat, although my internet kind of died and our conversation was abruptly ended. But yeah, we have the ability actually to basically get predetermined suspicious stews as one of the trades. But I don't know what they are. They could be good, which would be awesome, right? But I mean, it's not like super important. It's not like it's going to be a huge game changer. But it's basically like the poor man's potions, right? So let's go ahead and trade, and I want to see what each of these suspicious stews do. So this will be 1 and then 2, yeah? So these 2 are different suspicious stews. I'm going to go find myself a cow in case this is like a very negative effect. They don't last terribly long. They're not like, you know, oh, well, if I can just use suspicious stews, I'm just going to run around and use that instead of regen pots. No, not quite. But they will last for a little bit of time, which might be the difference that you need for a handful of very select situations. They're also pretty good for food regeneration. All right, so number 2, let's go ahead and see what this is. Let me turn this off so I can quickly see what that will end up being. Poison. Yeah, no, 12 seconds of poison. I am good. Okay, so second one, definitely a no bueno. Let's see what the first one's all about. Hopefully this is a positive one. Just kidding, I can't do that yet because I have, of course, my saturation being all satisfied. So let me go ahead and unsaturate myself. Desaturate myself? Yeah, desaturate myself, I suppose would be the right expression. All right, let's go ahead. Come on! And I suppose I could just like hurt myself a little bit, like, you know, just like jump off of that and take a little bit of damage. That would help spark some health regen. Just kidding. I forgot the feather falling and stuff now, so I don't actually really take that much damage. Just gotta do this like 20 times, right? Okay, there we go. Okay, and first one is jump boost. Okay, so it's just like a jump boost one. Not really useful, but okay, fine. It's just nice that I didn't get both bads, because bad stews mean nothing to me in single player. There's no benefit whatsoever. But anyways, all right, cool. So anyways, today again, we got ourselves all kitted out. Tomorrow is going to be like the really wild and wacky episode of like taking some pretty big risks. At least I find it to be risky. I know some of you are going to be like, LOL, dude. I've watched people do this in like leather with like I don't know, like a raw fish they like punched out of the ocean. Like, yeah, I know that some people are really good, but for me, this is going to be the biggest test of combat prowess. Once that's squared away, then yeah, we're going to be moving on to other things and farm stuff. Oh, and also food farms. I completely forgot. We still haven't set up our food source. Granted, I guess we kind of have. The farmer up there, so the master's tier farmers will always offer golden carrots, which I actually really should have gotten some of. But golden carrots, I believe, are... Oh, man. Okay, well, it's okay. But the golden carrots are going to end up being the most efficient in terms of, like, all the different things that you can do. That one is the one that you really want to have. So let me go ahead and make that real quick. Break those down. And, yeah. Rip. I guess that dirt's just gonna be a goner. I guess that dirt's just no longer with us. That's okay. These villagers, I'm not super stressed about him losing one point. We'll come back and fix that at a later time. But really, it's gonna bother me, isn't it? Do I have a good way to recover it? Well, maybe I can recover it just by like falling right here. Nope. I was wondering if I could like finagle grab. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Just kidding. I found it. XD. Outplayed game. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching this episode. If you did enjoy, consider leaving a like rating down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Notification bell if you want to get an alert or whatever they give you. A notification, I guess. Whenever you get a new video from me uploaded. And yeah, hopefully you all are enjoying this series. Of course, all the good words and nice comments and stuff, I do see them. I've seen a lot of things that are like, oh yeah, like I've been waiting for this all day. It's really cool. I'm really excited and glad to see a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm stoked for the series. So please do please do continue to share it around. And of course, I love some nice comments. I like some nice comments. I'm not above asking for them. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for me here today. So thank you again. And as always, and most importantly, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful and safe day. And until next time, ciao for now. Whoop!